I think one of them might have just gone, sadly.
Maybe we'll try to connect again. Can anyone in the chat? Okay. Can anyone in the chat say if you can hear us? I believe we have 2 viewers.
Yeah, I've already asked if they could put a message in the chat box. But
yeah, just to let us know whether they can hear us or not.
Yeah.
Or say it in Lithuanian, just to be absolutely clear, maybe.
We have people both from Latvia and Lithuania, so it would be one-sided. Okay, we have Vilius. We can hear you. Okay, so they can hear us. So do we start?
Yes, let's get started.
Okay,
yes,
let's get started. And Vilius, if you have any friends of yours that also wants to join, just tell them that we are back on the line. Sorry for all the interruptions. So hi everyone again. My name is Dominikas. I work for Kalba in Klaipėda, but today we have people both from Lithuania and Latvia. So it's great to have you here. We have pleasure of hosting representatives from one of best ranked universities in the world, so Newcastle. They will basically tell more about chemistry class and later on about mathematics. I will then end the whole presentation and tell more information about Kalba and how Kalba team can help you and what services we offer. So right now I would like to introduce Wendy, Goda, and Lee should also be with us, but as for now we have just Wendy and Goda. So word to you.
Okay, thank you, Dominikas. So hi everyone, thank you for your patience and for bearing with us while we sorted out our technical difficulties with this new platform. Thank you very much for joining us today. This session for the next hour is all about chemistry, studying chemistry at Newcastle University. But before we go into the details of what a chemistry degree looks like, I'd like to give you a few very, very quick facts about the university. So could you move the next slide on, please? Yeah, so just a short introduction. This is the university campus. The photo was taken on a bright sunny day when the sky was very blue. It does look like that in the summer, but it certainly doesn't look like that at the moment, as we are in the middle of winter, just as you are in Lithuania. But our campus is located right in the center of the city, which is great. So you have everything you need on your doorstep: student accommodation, supermarket, shopping, entertainment. Everything is a 5-10 minute walk away from where you're studying. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So as Dominikas mentioned, no, sorry, back one. As Dominikas mentioned, we are a high-ranking university. We belong to the top 150 universities in the world, something we're very proud of. And that ranking is based on the quality of our teaching, on our facilities, the research that the university staff do on all kinds of different things. Next slide, please. We're also highly ranked for student satisfaction. And perhaps one of the most important things for students is our employability ranking is really high. We're often voted in the top 5 or the top 10 for student employability in the UK. And that means you have a very good chance of getting a great graduate job when you leave Newcastle University with good pay and good prospects. And that could be in the UK itself, or it might be in another country if you want to travel. And we regularly get employers visiting our campus, looking for graduates to give them jobs at the end of their degrees. And in a moment, you're going to hear from Goda, who is one of our students, and she'll tell you all about her experiences with a recent placement that she did down in Oxford. Next slide, please. So where are we in the UK? I hope you can see there, we're up in the northeast corner of England. We have Scotland, Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland, 1.5 hours by train to the north of us. And we have London about 2.5 to 3 hours by train to the south of us. So being in the north of England, it's a lot cheaper to live as a student, and also just as a non-student. Even for me, my standard of living quality is so much higher than people who might do the same job down near London or somewhere in the south. We have our own international airport, and we have direct trains that take us to all the major cities across the UK. And if you want to get out and about, there are lots of destinations you can visit, which are just a short flight away. And we've mentioned some of those there, including Dubai. That's only a 5-hour flight away. So if you get a student job and make lots of money, you can maybe go on your holidays to Dubai at some point. Okay, next slide, please. Now the important bit before I hand over to Goda, tuition fees and scholarships. Next slide, please. So the tuition fees and the scholarships that we have for 2022 entry, so this coming September, as you probably know now, Lithuanian European students are now classed as international students, and so they would normally be paying high international fees, and I've shown those there. But the good news is, if we can move to the next slide, then, oh, all the typing's gone a bit funny. Never mind. Sorry, that's not very clear. The slide's playing naughty tricks on us. Basically, we're offering all our European Union students an automatic scholarship, which is worth 50 to 60% of their tuition fee, international tuition fee cost. So it brings the fee down to around £9,000 per year. And that's for everybody, as long as you're living in the EU. But then in addition, we have something called the Vice Chancellor's Excellence Scholarship, where we have a number of awards to give to high achieving students, and an additional £6,000 is awarded on top of the automatic one. As far as I know, we are the only high-ranked, high-quality Russell Group research-intensive university to offer these scholarships in the UK. So it's definitely worth giving Newcastle serious consideration amongst the universities that you might choose in Newcastle. We also offer sports scholarships, and these can be up to £10,000 depending on what you've done sport-wise and what sport you're playing. Okay, next slide, please. And then I've just listed there the basic entry requirements for a student from Lithuania. So I've put there what the UK requirement is to get onto one of our degree courses. So different courses have different requirements. Our lowest requirement at Newcastle is normally ABB at A level, which is the exams that British students take. So if I translate that into Lithuanian, that would be an 8 overall in your brandos atestatus, or an 8.5, depending on which course it is. And then you need to have an average of 75% or 80% in 3 state matura exams for most of our courses. But you do need to look carefully at the entry requirements because they vary according to what you're studying. In addition to the academic requirements, there's also an English language requirement, and you would have to normally take an IELTS test or a TOEFL test, and the IELTS score is listed there. It's 6 or 6.5, depending on which program you study. If you do a course like chemistry, you're lucky, it's actually lower, so it's a 6, an IELTS 6, which I think for most Lithuanian students is definitely achievable. Okay, thank you. Next slide. Okay, this is now, I'm going to hand over to the lovely Goda, who is a student who came to Newcastle University. She applied through Kalba a few years ago, and she came and to study chemistry with us, and she's now in her final year. And I hope, and I'm sure, she'll have lots of interesting things to tell you. Thanks, Goda.
Yeah. So, hi everyone, I'm Goda, and I am Lithuanian. If you later want to ask any questions. I will talk about my experience at Newcastle University, studying chemistry. Currently, as Wendy mentioned, I am in my third year, which is the final year of bachelor's degree. And my first slide, as you can see, is not about chemistry at all, but a few important bits that I and probably most of the students are worried about, especially when moving from school to university. Obviously, it's a big change, and time, money, these responsibilities and others are really important, and to manage them well is a skill to learn. As you move from school to uni, and especially if you transfer to another country, you will have the experience of learning to manage your own time, money. And in university, nobody will chase you down to do your homework. Or just in case you don't attend university for a day, nobody will ask, why did you do that? It's not a school anymore, and it's definitely a different experience in that sense. It is your own responsibility. Also, you'll have to learn to manage your own money. Rent, food, entertainment. The best advice I could give you is to actually calculate how much you spend and be conscious about it. But at the same time, the experience of university in another country gives you so much in terms of learning new skills that it is a great skill for your life to have. Then finding new friends. Most people are worried about finding new friends. If you wish to interact with Lithuanians, there is Lithuanian Society in University, which has currently about 200 members. They meet weekly, as far as I'm aware, do all sorts of activities as a society. And on the other hand, you have course mates, of course. This is probably the easiest place to meet and interact with other people, as you will be meeting them daily in the class, in laboratories, and especially laboratories. Basically, laboratory is a place that unites everyone. You need to discuss stuff. You don't know how to do that. Everyone quickly becomes a friend, basically, of yours. And yet, I would say that societies and sport clubs is the best way to meet new people, as obviously you share similar hobbies with them. And you generally hang out with them during your free time. So everyone has an attitude, different attitude than, let's say, when they're in a class, not stressed and so on, wanting to meet new people. Plus, usually get a huge mix of people from different countries and cultures. Everyone is just more keen to learn about new cultures. It's definitely a different experience than sitting in a classroom and talking to your course mate that is sitting beside you. Another thing to talk about is new opportunities. Obviously, you're in a university, and there are so many opportunities, but it's entirely up to you how much extra time you want to give it to them. And societies clubs, as you mentioned, this one, but also you might want to take a volunteering position, internship, or something like that. It's entirely up to you. And many students are worried about attitude to Europeans after Brexit. Obviously, Brexit happened, and how are Europeans treated in the UK. So Newcastle University is very multicultural, and many students from foreign countries. And one more point is that Newcastle is a city that is considered one of the friendliest cities around in the UK. I personally have always felt welcome here. And for me, it was really easy to integrate myself into Newcastle, and not only Newcastle University. So I would say it probably depends on uni and city, how many cultures do you have in that particular city or university, as I mentioned. And probably the big universities will always have a different experience than purely British universities, where not many people arrive from different countries. Next slide, please. Right, so now on to the chemistry, the course. So talking about chemistry course, there are a few things important to mention. First, focus study. So the course that you sign up for is what you're actually going to get. For example, bachelor's is a 3-year long course that focuses entirely on chemistry and the relevant skills only. From the very first year, every module will be closely related to chemistry. It might be organic, physical, inorganic, analytical, structural chemistry, but everything will be chemistry. You won't have random IT class or something like that. Everything will be chemistry and chemistry only. you won't study something that you will feel that you won't use in a job. Then teaching delivery. Teaching is usually delivered in a few ways. Chemistry obviously highly focuses on practical work, that is labs, which I will talk about later. Seminars as well, lectures, and tutorials. All of these are used to assist you to understand the material better and ask any questions. Also, important thing to mention is that lecturers usually prefer quite an informal way of talking to students, for you to engage with them and ask questions and not to be afraid to do that. And as they usually say, there's no such thing as stupid question. So you really feel like you can ask them something and you will get an answer from them, definitely. Now, practical work. So in a chemistry course, every week you will have 2 days when you attend laboratories. In your third year, it's a total of around 12 hours per week. That's besides lectures and seminars and so on. You will have physical, inorganic, and organic laboratories. And if you happen to take the route of medicinal chemistry instead of physical chemistry, you will also have medicinal laboratories in your last year. Assessment. So courses assessed in different ways. It's not only exams. It's usually lab reports, assignments that are subject to each module. So every lecturer will have its own way, how he wants to do that. And then, yes, exam as well. Exam is usually, you have exams usually twice a year. That is in January and I think in May. Don't remember right now. Oh, yeah, Wendy's shaking her head, yes. But yeah, it is definitely not as exam intensive as it is in Lithuania. It's more about teaching, and the assessment is more through the assignments or lab reports rather than exam. Exam can cover 50% of the course, maybe less, 40. For some modules, yes, it might be 85%, but it really depends. Next slide, please. Important thing, facilities. So there are two different laboratories, teaching and research laboratories. As an undergraduate student in bachelor's degree, you will be attending teaching laboratories. And as I mentioned, you might have to attend physical, inorganic, organic, or medicinal chemistry laboratories. And you will exclusively attend those during your bachelor's degree. They usually have space for, I think, around 70 people. And you're always assigned a lab partner that you will be working together for a single module. And teaching laboratories are definitely very different from research laboratories. That is, basically, these are researchers' laboratories, likely to be your lecturers, and also lecturers that teach you the course usually have research labs in university and know the material very well and are experts in the field. So if you happen to have a question, they're definitely the expert that you should go to. If you take master's project, research laboratories are going to be very important to you because you will be choosing a project and a supervisor to work with. That's, of course, if you want to go into science after you graduate, especially. And also the same situation is for PhD students. If you choose some kind of project with some kind of supervisor, and you will be closely working with them in their research laboratories with all their facilities that they have. And yeah. Next slide, please. So, work opportunities. There are several ways how you can get work experience, and it highly depends on what are you planning to do after you graduate. But for example, you can take bachelor's or integrated master's degree with study abroad, which is basically you go into another university in another country, let's say France, and do a little research project for 6 months, I believe. And then you return to your university. You already have the experience of a researcher and continue to finish your last final year or go straight on to master's, depending if you chose bachelor's or master's degree. Or another thing that you could do is industrial placement. Obviously, both of these things, it's entirely up to you if you want to take them or not, because you can just do bachelor's degree or just do master's degree and not take extra work, experience, study abroad, or similar things. I personally did industrial placement, and I was working for 15 months in a company, Oxford Nanosystems, and you can see some photos here. I'm on the right, I'm pipetting. Basically what I'm doing is just for photo shoot, so it doesn't really make sense what I'm doing there, but oh well, just for this photo shoot. I also had the opportunity to attend some other laboratories in Oxford, as I was based in Oxford, and on the left, you can see me in a different kind of costume, because I was attending laboratory for scanning electron microscopes, and this costume is just to protect any dust on landing on the microscopes. Such a clean laboratory. And yeah, getting back to master degrees. So you can take, if you wish to go and study chemistry, maybe become a researcher, you might want to consider a master's degree. Masters are usually 1 year long, and you can take Masters of Science. This one focuses on research for several months, I believe, and most of course is teaching. And MPhil is a master's course which has 12 months of research project. So if you know exactly that you want to do research in Newcastle University, that would be MPhil degree for chemistry, of course, and that would be exclusively doing a project and no teaching for you at all. And also the last thing, internships. Many internships run at university throughout the year, and they keep popping into your mailbox, especially if you sign up to receive them, and you can apply, and many students get them, especially if you craft the good application. But if you really want experience, there are plenty of possibilities to do that. It really depends on you, what you get, and yeah. And that's basically it. If you happen to have any questions, let me know.
Thanks, Goda. That was great. I learned some things there as well. Dominikas, were you going to say a few things? Or?
Yeah, just a few things about Kalba itself. So basically, you can find us in Lithuania and in Latvia. So basically, we offer free of charge consultation to a study program corresponding to your wishes and possibilities. So basically, if you're looking to study outside of your country, you can basically just text us and we will plan a consultation for you. Next one is we help you prepare the necessary documents for your application. So we have to assist how to write it and at the greatest possible quality. We also help with motivation letters and CVs. We also inform about all the financing opportunities, grants, loans, etc. And basically, we actually just send all of your documents to your chosen universities. So basically, we just help you throughout the whole process. There might be a few myths going around that language is the barrier. So as you can see, God is Lithuanian, but she has no problem speaking in English. So don't be scared about that. Believe me, in Lithuania, and I believe in Latvia, from my colleagues, I heard that we are taught in a very high level of English, so no worries. Another myth is lack of money and it's hard to find a job. So believe me, in UK, it's not that hard. So basically just have a CV with yourself and just go around any cafe, shop, or I don't know, market, or anywhere you want to work. And it's super easy. We're looking for students who can work part-time. The next one is I will definitely not get accepted with such marks. And as you heard, Wendy already covered that part. So basically, maybe if you get a high score from English, you don't even need to have an extra exam. So no worries with that. And the last one would be it'll be better to handle the documents yourself. So that's also a myth because here at Kalba, we are doing it basically every day, and it's our job. We get paid for that. So it's not every day like your brother or sister did it back in 5 years ago. So it's more fresh to do it with us. So here we just can see some examples of how is it applying on your own and how is it applying with Kalba. So just to say it simply, on the left side you can see a sad face, and on the right side it's a happy face. So yeah, that would be it. Do you have any questions for Wendy, Goda, or me? You can text us. You should be able on public chat, private message. It doesn't matter.
Just while maybe the guys are thinking about some questions, I just wanted to repeat again what I said in my part about the fact that at Newcastle University we have these great scholarships for European students. So that includes you as Lithuanians. You don't even need to apply for the first type of scholarship. It's just automatically awarded to you after you've been made an offer. But then we do have some that you apply for, and then that gives you a further £6,000 discount on top of the 50 or 60% discount we've already awarded you. So they really are very generous. And I think it shows Newcastle's commitment to European students. We recognise that as a Lithuanian student or a Spanish student, you bring something extra to the community. And certainly I've been recruiting Lithuanian students with Kalba for the last 5, almost 6 years now. And the standard of your English that you get taught in schools is really excellent. So you don't need to worry about your English language ability. It's just about getting your marks in your exams. That's really the main concern that we have. So no questions.
No questions. Are you still here? Free viewers.
They seem to be there, but one thing, Goda, I don't think you mentioned, unless I missed it, when you did your work placement, you were paid for that, right? So that was a
right.
really yes.
I can tell a bit more about the placement. It's more like work. It's not like you do 12 months or whatever amount of months experience without getting paid. No. You get paid a normal living wage or whatever that is offered for you. And I was living in Oxford, which is one of the most expensive cities in the UK. But as I'm learning the normal wage, it's definitely not a problem. And I was able to save for my university later. And yeah, but yes, you get paid and you're treated like you're working full time, which is, you are working full time. They know that you're going to leave, but you're no less of a worker than anybody in the company.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Absolutely.
So I believe we won't receive any questions. Then I believe this is where we end.
Yeah, just to say, if you've sort of liked what you've heard today, and you want to get in touch with us, or if you have more questions that you would like answering after today, you can always contact Kalba. And then if it's specifically about chemistry at Newcastle University, then Kalba can send me an email and I will then send it to Goda and she will answer the question. And as she said earlier, there are no silly questions. We're very happy to hear from any of you.
If you can send it in Lithuanian if something.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe that's it. Thank you for everyone who's been here. And we'll meet you some other time. Have a nice day.
Yes, thanks everyone. Take care. Stay safe.